marketing in practice. You must be wondering how different marketing in practice is from marketing management. Let me assure you, there's a lot of difference, right? Well, this is Professor Abhishek Venkteshwar, who's going to be explaining this course, Marketing in Practice. Marketing in practice is essentially applying marketing concepts that you've learned in marketing management to real life scenarios. So let's not waste any time and let's dive into the course MIP. Alright, how many of you have introduced yourself? I'm sure majority of the times in most of the places that you're not acquainted with, you do introduce yourself. Now that is marketing. You market yourself, you brand yourself, you position yourself, whether it's for a job interview, whether it's for an admission, whether it's just to impress someone of your choice. All this is marketing. But of course, in this particular course, we're going to be learning marketing in practice to companies. So what are you going to learn in this particular subject? There are totally 6 modules. You'll be studying marketing strategies of Coca-Cola, integrated marketing communications of Dove, service marketing of Jet Airways and Taj. You will also look into the market research of the Bollywood film industry, which happens to be a 4th module, the sales management, and then we conclude this particular course with new context in marketing that is ruling the roost in the corporate world. Now let's start the first module, marketing strategies of Coca-Cola. Marketing strategies of Coca-Cola. Okay, do you know the worldwide market share of Coca-Cola? It is more than 50%. To be specific, in India, it's 56.7% for Coca-Cola, and the other major rival, Pepsi, is just around 34%. Why? Right? Coca-Cola knows how to market itself. Now, the main point in the marketing strategy of Coca-Cola is how Coke knows the basic fact and the basic understanding of the consumers. Right. Now, when Coke entered India, it was very strategic, and the first thing it did was it acquired Gold Spot, killed it. It later acquired Thumbs Up, and today it is still running Thumbs Up in India because of the huge brand value that Thumbs Up has. Coke knows what to do, when to do, how to do. Now let's get into the history of Coca-Cola. Do you know how Coca-Cola was launched in the world? And I think this is a very, very important case study for you to understand and for you to appreciate Coca-Cola in its full glory. Now, let's go back to history. This is before the World War II. Right? Dr. John was trying to make an essence that is going to be a sweetener for his kids, because most of the time his kids would come and take cough syrup because they would like the taste. I'm sure all of us in our childhood would have consumed cough syrup even if you're not having a cough, just for the taste of it. That's what Dr. John's kids were doing, and just to ensure he can give some sweet syrup that is consumable, Dr. John started making this syrup. Simultaneously, he was working on a medicine that could cure headache. These were 2 separate solutions that he was creating in the lab. But he actually had to leave that and go and attend to one of his important clients outside. His kids came in and accidentally they were playing and they mixed these 2 solutions and they ran. When Dr. John came back to the laboratory, he realized that there was a peculiar solution, and he kind of experimented and tasted it. And then he loved the taste, and that is what we call cola today. Now, how does this word cocoa add to cola? I'll explain. Now, what happened? Dr. John developed this particular essence, which was liked by people across his family, and every street they started selling Coca-Cola, like these roadside vendor shops. It was still not a brand. But that is when Coca-Cola was slowly gaining its momentum. It was still called cola. And that is when Asa Candler decided to commercialize it. So he went and he asked Dr. John. Dr. John happily sold the drink cola, right, to Candler. Candler changed the dynamics of soft drinks, and the rest is history. So how did he do it? He first realized it has to be branded, right? Branding is most important, right? So that is when he basically introduced this term Coca-Cola. What is Coca-Cola? You'll be surprised to see that Coca-Cola comes from the word cocaine, right? So he wanted to attract the youth, and that time, unfortunately, a lot of youth in America, North America and South America, were into consuming cocaine. And when this word cocoa got attached to cola, they thought it is something that is going to derive some sort of a high for them. Actually, the drink had nothing to do with cocaine, but it was just a branding strategy. Another branding strategy he did was the Coca-Cola bottle was in the shape of a woman, right? Again, those days, the internet was not there. They did not have access to a lot of material that today people have at their disposal. So therefore, young boys got attracted to the bottle of Coca-Cola because they thought that this is the closest that they could get to the opposite gender. All these were branding exercise of Coca-Cola. But next, we are going to be looking at how Coca-Cola internationalized its operation, and that's something very, very interesting. Internationalization of Coca-Cola. I think that's one of the most interesting stories that you will possibly hear. Now, this was a time when the entire world was not in peace, right? Pretty much troubled times like the way we are in today, but that time it was World War II. And Candler said, this is the right time, I'm going to go international. All his advisors said that this is not the time, don't think of going international. Candler said, no, I will go. So that is when he used a major strategy. Right? What is this major strategy? He said, let me tie up with US so that I'll get access to all the allies of US, so many countries across the globe. So what he said is, he's going to be giving free Coca-Cola to all the personnel involved in the war, whether they are fighters or not, army, navy, everybody, Air Force, everybody were getting access to free Coca-Cola. So now what happened? In the war zone, right? There was a lot of fight, there was shortage of water, there was shortage of food, there was shortage of medicines, but there wasn't shortage of Coca-Cola. This created the soldiers to really get attached to the drink. And even the rivals were seeing them and saying, okay, this is some secret drink, and eventually they actually stole the drink. Actually, that's another trick. So Candler said, now my aim is not just to support my US and my allies, I also want the whole world to get a taste of cola. So he allowed those drinks to be stolen by the opponents. And that's how Coca-Cola really internationalized its operations. And I think today, the loyalty started with that. So when the World War II got over, so you should think from a soldier's point of view. When he's thirsty, when there's no water, when there's no medicine, when there's nothing else available, when he consumes Coca-Cola, he gets very attached to the brand. Coca-Cola really gets into his emotional quotient. So when he got back, he used to tell that to his family, to his kids, to his parents, and then Candler immediately launched cola in those countries. And then the rest became history. This is the way Coca-Cola internationalized its operations. Of course, today Coke is a multinational company heading towards becoming a transnational company. It is pretty much present throughout the globe. There are very few countries that Coke is not established its presence. All this because of marketing strategy. So students, what have we learned today? We learned the importance of marketing strategy. We learned how Coca-Cola actually strategized and got where it is. This is not just applicable for Coca-Cola. You name any successful brand, it's because of strategies. You name any brand that has failed, that is also because of strategies going wrong. Marketing strategies is the basic of marketing in practice, and I'll get back to you with more interesting strategies in the next few classes. Thank you. Abhishek signing off.